You're listening to Make Some Noise podcast, Minisode number 602. Welcome to Make Some Noise podcast, your guide for strategies, tools, and insight to empower yourself. I'm your host, Andrea Owen, global speaker, entrepreneur, life coach since 2007, and author of 3 books that have been translated into 18 languages and are available in 22 countries. Each week, I'll bring you a guest or a lesson that will help you maximize unshakable confidence, master resilience, and make some noise in your life. You ready? Let's go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Minisode. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm really going to try my best to make this one under 10 minutes. Let's see if I can do it. Let's see if I don't talk too much. It's an old topic, really, that I've been talking about for eons and eons. And I was going through all of my notes. I have a special folder for podcasts. And I guess, I don't know how long ago this was. Colleen M, if you're listening to this, you asked this question. It was probably in a Facebook group somewhere, and I copied it and saved it because I thought this would be a really good podcast episode, and then I forgot about it. I'm so sorry. Maybe I answered it on another podcast episode. I don't know, but it's a timeless one nonetheless, and I wanted to bring it here and do the short mini-sode, and it's around limiting beliefs, core beliefs about ourselves or about how we behave, which is, also ourselves. And we sometimes, many times, I would say most of the time, do not recognize them. And these beliefs become so entrenched in who we are, we kind of wrap our identity around it, and they can be things that hold us back. And so Colleen's question, who knows how long ago this question was asked, she said, how do we actually get rid of limiting beliefs? She said, I know you've covered this before, but I would love to dig deeper and not just recognizing them, not just learning how to recognize them, but banishing them. And I have some thoughts. But first I want to start with a quick story. I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were having a back and forth about love and relationships and our quest to learn and grow from said relationships and love. And I said to my friend, all the men I've loved and cared about in my life have disappointed me and left me in some way or another, family members included, every single one. And this person that I was telling this to is a man. He's not someone who, he's a friend, platonic friendship, true platonic friendship. And he pushed back and he said, you may not like what I'm about to say, but I think that's a limiting belief. And so my first instinct was to get defensive and say, no, let me tell you an inventory. Let me show you this PowerPoint presentation of all the men in my life, starting with my dad and my brother, who have disappointed me and left me some way or another, all the boyfriends I've had, et cetera, et cetera. But I didn't do that. And I thought about it for a little while, and here's the conclusion that I came to. The reality of it is that when you are in relationship with someone, whether it's a family member or an intimate romantic relationship, even our children, siblings, that type of thing, I could almost guarantee they're going to disappoint you. They're going to disappoint us because we have expectations of people, usually unconscious, that they're not going to be able to follow through with because our expectations are too high, or just because they're their own individuals and they're going to make their own decisions. We have no control over that. We're going to be disappointed. And also, usually, if I think about every relationship I've had, again, all relationships, they ebb and flow. People come in and out of your life. Maybe they don't leave completely, but we might spend less time with people for a certain period of time, for a long period of time. And then they come back in. And so It's interesting, and he wasn't entirely wrong by saying, I think that's a limiting belief that you have. But I was looking at the situation from a very black and white standpoint. And also I looked at it like, okay, what am I getting out of holding on to this limiting belief, this core belief that I am going to get back to Colleen's question too, by the way. What am I getting out of it? You know what I'm getting out of it? I get out of it an excuse to not get close to people. I use it as an excuse to not let people get close to me. And it makes sense as I'm exiting my second marriage, my second very long relationship. It makes sense. So I'm having lots of compassion for myself for having that limiting belief in the first place. I'm being open to feedback from what my friend said, and I'm just sort of examining it a little bit more closely. Those are the steps that I'm taking in regard to that particular limiting belief and that little bit of wisdom. Shopify's already taken the cash register online, helping millions sell billions around the world. But did you know that Shopify can do the same thing at your retail store? Give your point of sale system a serious upgrade with Shopify. With Shopify, you get a powerhouse selling partner that effortlessly unites your in-person and online sales into one source of truth. Track every sale across your business in one place and know exactly what's in stock. Connect with customers inline and online. Shopify helps you drive store traffic with plug-and-play tools built for marketing campaigns from TikTok to Instagram and beyond. Get hardware that fits your business. Take payments by smartphone, transform your tablet into a point of sale system, or use Shopify's POS Go mobile device for a battle-tested solution. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/noise, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/noise to take your retail business to the next level today. Shopify.com/noise. I have definitely been in that place where my paycheck ran out before the next one got here. Life doesn't happen bi-weekly, so why should payday? The money you earn can be in your hands today with Earnin. Earnin is an app that gives you access to your pay as you work, up to $100 per day or up to $750 per pay period. Just download the Earnin app and verify your paycheck. Then access up to $100 a day as you work and leave an optional tip. Any money you access plus tips are automatically repaid from your next paycheck. You can use Earnin to pay for a girls' night out, a last-minute gift for a loved one, or even summer camp for the kids. Make Earnin a part of your financial routine and join Earnin's over 3.5 million customers who say things like, when I think about Earnin, I think about financial stability, security. It gives me a lot of peace of mind. Download Earnin today, spelled EARNIN, in the Google Play or Apple App Store. When you download the Earnin app, type in noise under podcast when you sign up. It really, really helps the show. Noise under podcast. Subject to your available earnings, location, daily max, and pay period max. See earnin.com/TOS for details. Earnin is a financial technology company, not a bank. Bank products are issued by Evolve Bank and Trust, member FDIC. Fast forward to the end of 2024 and think about your goals. What can you do right now to give yourself the best chance of succeeding? If you want to learn a new language, you absolutely should get Babbel. Don't pay hundreds of dollars for private tutors or waste hours on apps that don't really help you speak the language. Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are handcrafted by over 200 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Babbel's designed by real people for real conversations. Studies from Yale, Michigan State University, and others continue to prove Babbel is better. One study found that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a full semester at college. Now it's so easy to speak simple conversation phrases with the guy that takes care of my lawn without having to consult language apps. Here's a special limited time deal for our listeners. Right now, get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/noise. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/noise, spelled BABBEL.com/noise. Rules and restrictions may apply. And so getting back to this question around how do we banish our limiting beliefs? My opinion, my professional opinion on this is that you can't. You can't banish them for good. our brains constantly make up stories. We, again, like I was mentioning, we have expectations of people. We have expectations of ourselves, which are largely unconscious. These stories, these expectations feed our beliefs, and it's simply part of the human experience. Just like I told you in How to Stop Feeling Like Shit, all of those 14 habits I wrote about in that book, the people pleasing, the numbing out, the isolating, the perfectionism, the control, et cetera, it's not about stopping. The goal isn't to stop those behaviors altogether. I don't stop those behaviors. I still engage in them sometimes. The goal is to notice when you are doing them quickly, so that you can course correct and so that you can hopefully do those behaviors less and less. That's really the point. And it's the same with having limiting beliefs. The goal, and I mean, hey, listen, P.S., if you have found a way to do that, to completely banish any limiting beliefs, by all means, DM me. My DMs are open on Instagram. But it's not been my experience. If you can notice it quickly, that is a huge win. And if you have friends that will gently point those things out to you, that's also a huge win. So hopefully you have friends that are also interested in personal development work. Again, the win is to recognize them quickly, then change directions. We can't, unfortunately, banish them altogether. One quick tip to think about if this is interesting to you and you're wanting to notice more, like, well, I don't even know what my limiting beliefs are. Anytime you find yourself using language like I did, every man I've ever loved and cared about, that's black or white, that's definitive like that, that might be something to look at. You can even journal on this and say, the journaling prompt could be, here's what I believe to be true about myself. I am, at my worst, I am. That's your journaling prompt. At my worst, I am. Be gentle with yourself if you do choose to go through that and see what comes up. See if you spot any limiting beliefs there. Speaking of the subconscious, I recorded a couple of minisodes now on my private podcast feed. It's free. It's my psychedelic journey. It's my psychedelic therapy journey. I did my 4th of 6 ketamine sessions. You guys, the earth moved under my feet. I know that's a song, but it was profound. I have much more to say on it. I'm not going to talk about it a lot on this particular podcast feed. I'm going to go into more detail over there for people that are interested because it's very niche. AndreaOwen.com/journey. And it's just like this. It's a separate podcast feed though, and you can subscribe to it and you'll get notified when I put out new episodes. They are ad-free. And I had a profound breakthrough over the weekend. And so I wanted to tell you about it. AndreaOwen.com/journey. And thank you so much for listening. I appreciate your time. I know it's incredibly valuable. And remember, it's our life's journey to make ourselves better humans and our life's responsibility to make the world a better place. Bye for now. Hey everyone, thanks again for listening. I would be so incredibly grateful if you haven't done so already, if you could leave a review of this podcast on Apple Podcasts. Super easy if you already listen to your shows over there. But if you don't, or maybe you have the app on your phone, but you listen to the show on a different app, if you could leave a review for this show, it matters so much. I wish I could express how much it matters. I also wish that it didn't matter so much, but alas, it does. So if you haven't already, please go review and rate the show. It would mean so much to me. And thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing day.
I'd like to introduce you to the Minimalist Moms podcast. It's hard enough being a mom, and the last thing you need is stress from too much stuff and an overcrowded schedule. For too long, I lived with the mindset that bigger was better, and the more I added to my life, instead of feeling better, I felt overwhelmed. It was time for a radical new mindset. Less is more. I'm not into extremes. I didn't throw everything away. My brand of minimalism is more about adding than subtracting. Get rid of the excess to make room for what you love. In other words, it's about living life with purpose. I hope you'll listen in, and my guest and myself can inspire you to think more and do with less. The Minimalist Moms Podcast, available wherever you listen to podcasts.